which is more damaging? Ghosting the person or letting them know, hey, listen, you just not what I'm looking for right now?
Letting them know.
So you really done? Like really?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all feel, man? You tuned in to another great episode of the Male Translations Podcast. It's Tuesday night, one more again, and I'm back, man. We got another great topic for you, man. I wanted to discuss something that's near and dear to my heart. Every week it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart, but tonight especially because I've gone through this. I've had situations where, certain things that I'm going to talk about tonight have come up. So really wanted to chop it up, man. I appreciate everybody that's locked in, that's going to be locking in throughout the show. For those of y'all that don't know who I am, my name is Clarence Brown. I'm a relationship coach. I'm an author, a speaker, and the host of the Male Translations Podcast that you're watching tonight. All right. So what I like to do and what I try to do anytime I come out and I speak, whether it be on my platform or with people individually, is help bridge that gap of communication between men and women and ultimately help you improve your dating and relationship outcomes. So tonight, what we're going to discuss is how far should a man go to protect his lady? All right. How far should a man go to protect his lady? All right. So tonight, I'm going to need y'all to bear with me because I'm going to be trying a few different things. Right. So I put out a link to this actual post. So if you are on Facebook or if you are part of my Facebook group, Inside a Man's Mind, I posted the link to this very broadcast, all right, on the relationship healing page, as well as the Inside a Man's Mind group on Facebook. So if you tonight are watching and you want to tap in and share your opinion, or if you want to, log into the show, join the show, and also, speak with me and be on screen with everybody that's watching, then yeah, we can chop it up on this topic tonight, man. So I got that link right, like I said, on the Facebook group and in the Facebook relationship healing page. So if you have something that you want to say, if you have the experience that you had in the past that's related to the topic, how far should a man go to protect his lady? I want to hear from you. I'll be so grateful if you could join and we could chop it up here, right? Now, I know public speaking isn't everybody's strength. And for a lot of people, that's one of their major fears. Next to death is public speaking for a lot of people. But if you do have the courage, or if you do have something that compels you or convicts you enough to speak up and say, hey, this is something my experience, we can laugh about it, we can talk about it. And I would, like I say, love it if you join the show. Now, also what I wanted to do is show two examples of what made me bring up this topic, right? So it was two videos I saw recently. One is it was a white guy. His lady was they all at a Steelers game, preseason game. White guy and his lady was there. Apparently his lady was talking with a black guy, and she so happened to slap the black guy in his face. So after the black guy got slapped in his face, he almost swung on her, prompting her man to step up to defend her, in which point he ended up getting knocked out. And so yeah, right. She slapped the black guy, and the black guy, his natural reaction was to take off, and white guy stepped up to protect his lady, ended up getting socked out, and his lady even caught a little piece of the action too. And so I wanted to show y'all that video. That would made me want to prompt, how far are you supposed to go to protect your lady, right? And then also too was another topic where I saw a video of Ace Hood talking with his mom, and his mom was pretty much breaking down how she felt about him distancing himself from her in order to cling to his wife and attach to his family and support them, and no longer support her in the way that she was being supported by him in the past. All right. So real quick, I'm going to do a quick screen share, and we're going to watch these two clips, and then we're going to chop it up and see how y'all feel about it. Like I said, if you really want to tap in, if you really want to be a part of the show, the link to this show is on Facebook, inside a Man's Mind Facebook group. If you're not a part of that, you need to be a part of that. You're missing out. You sleep on that. You super late. Or you can go to the relationship healing page. It's the first, it should be the latest post. You just click on the link. You'll be able to tap in and we'll be able to connect here. All right. So let me see if I can get this to work. So I say, bear with me. It's my first time, but we're going to see how this work out. All right. Let's do it. Mm, mm, mm. Lord forgive me. Lord forgive me. I ain't supposed to laugh at that, right? But he went straight to sleep. Whoo, boy. Yes, sir. And so, like I said, man, that right there prompted me to say, how far are you supposed to go to protect your lady? And you get socked out to sleep. Man, that's so cold with it. I mean, who's more at fault when y'all riding home from the game? Now y'all completely sobered up. You understand me? I'm talking about all that alcohol is out of your blood system completely. Y'all go home, y'all licking y'all wounds. Like, is she supposed to say something to him for getting knocked out, or is he supposed to say something to her for putting him in that position? All right. I'm sorry. That was comedy to me. Listen, okay, can I? Do y'all mind one more time? Let me see. Facebook say, yeah, yep. So first, the white guy was correct in trying to protect this lady, but then he should have checked her. Granted, he was asleep. Hey, how you gonna check her when you asleep, bro? Hold on, let's see. When he wakes up, he's supposed to check her for being another man's face with all that rah-rah. Now, see, that's facts to me, right? Now, I don't know how y'all feel out there, but for me, I'm saying to myself, if you love her, don't let her put herself in a situation, let alone put you in a situation, right? Like, don't allow her to put herself in harm's way. That's a part of being a protector, a provider, right? So when it comes to you seeing her about to put her, like, that's just like, okay, if you walking with your lady side by side on the sidewalk, right? And she's looking at her phone and she looked like she's about to walk right into oncoming traffic. It's on you to say, hey, let me catch you before you put yourself in danger, right? You may not be paying attention, you may not see the signs and know the outcome of what you're about to do. But the way he was sitting there was kind of like, yeah, it's all good, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, he was just, I don't know, so G with it, so cold with it. Like, he didn't care what she was doing. It was like, how was she going, whatever she do, it's all right with me. And so when she overstepped the line, put her hands on another man, you know, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. I don't endorse a man putting his hands on another woman, but it's certain circumstances where it's like, come on now, you give him no choice, right? So as a man, I feel like it's on me. If I'm her man, it's on me to protect her from putting herself in harm's way and potentially put me in harm's way. Because, man, listen, man, he got knocked to sleep so decent, so cold. Oh, Lord Jesus. What's going on, Jeff? I see you, brother. So, again, I'm trying to figure out how far should you go to protect your lady, because I feel like even in a situation where you two might embarrass one another, or he might embarrass her by telling her to sit herself down and calm down, let's watch the game. I felt that could calm the situation, that could quell the situation and make it much better, to where you don't find yourself potentially spending a night in jail for assault and battery because you started the fight, or you don't find yourself, in the backseat of an ambulance getting taped up in medical kits and band-aids and Neosporin and all this. No, listen, she was, in my opinion, she was all the way wrong. She should have never, number one, been in that man's face, and she should have never put her hands on him, right? But I feel like it's also the man's fault, because if you are to be a protector of your lady, you have to assess the situation and say, hey, this ain't worth a fight. This ain't worth, for me having to put myself in a position where I got to protect you when I shouldn't even have to. You should be a little bit more mature enough to say, you know what, I'm going to fall back. Let me see what y'all talking about. When she first started running off at the mouth, he should have had shut that down right then. That's a fact. Now, I would rather, deal with the fact that, hey, you might have felt embarrassed. You might have felt shown up in front of this guy that you don't know, by me saying, hey, no, you need to sit down and stop playing, stop being in other guys' face. Like, that's not what we doing, regardless of how I felt about that man. But yet, I don't feel like he was enough of a man to be able to stand up to her, which is why she felt like she had the entitlement to be in another guy's face. she probably in his face at home. She probably be all up in his grill telling him what he need to do, when he need to do, how he need to do it, right? So now when it comes to being out in public, she feel like, well, he can't tell me nothing. I run him too. So listen here, let me tell you another thing. And to me, that's that right there. You should be man enough to be able to say, hey, babe, look, look, sit down for real. Like, stop, for real, stop playing. And that's just how I feel about it. Let me see. Blame me says she's the one being disrespectful to the other man. She's the one got her man knocked the F out. He should have put her in check first for being in that man's face. That's a fact. But let me ask you, ladies, do you mind being checked in front of another person? Do you feel like you would allow your man to calm you down or put you in a position in front of somebody else? Because when we talk about how far a man should go to protect his lady, in my opinion, as a man, you got to take the L if the L be it you having a disagreement with your lady later, because you definitely took an L when you got put to sleep. When you got socked to sleep, you definitely took an L. So I feel like it would have been better for you to just say, hey, I'm going to take the L with you being upset with me, maybe showing you up in front of public, in front of somebody else, to where you feel like you were embarrassed because I had to put you in place for a little bit. Right? So let's see. How is it she comfortable putting her hands on a stranger? Like I said, she probably comfortable doing it at home. She probably that's probably how the relationship dynamic is in the household. So it ain't nothing, to step outside and do the same thing. They call it home training. It's not just for children, it's for relationships too. Sometimes you gotta, hey, listen, I don't like when you looking at other women in public. Women might say that's home training. You discuss that in the confines of your own home. Ladies, you might tell your man, hey, I don't like when you get too flirtatious with the waitress at the restaurant or whatever the case may be, right? A man may say to his woman, hey, I don't like when you be all loud and you embarrass us. You come across a certain way, maybe a little thottish, maybe a little ghetto, maybe a little bit, you know what I mean? You got to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations at home. So it's already known up front how we going to react and how we going to interact outside the home. Let me see. She probably was an aggressor in a relationship. Like, see, y'all on the same type of time I'm on. That's what I'm saying to myself. And so the question is, did he go too far by allowing her to overstep her boundaries and sitting back thinking like whatever it's going to be is going to be? Was he too arrogant to say, hey, well, you're not going to put your hands on my lady no matter what she does? What was he asleep at the wheel? Like, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm saying to myself, bro, somebody do something, because something bound to happen, because she's coming across too masculine. She's coming across with too much energy like that. And that's going to get both of y'all in trouble. Let me see. So she could be tapping on him. Not really. So let me see. Jeff say, it shows that she used to being out of line. See, it starts at home, because if she knew that her man don't play that, you're right. She probably does this at home. That's what I'm saying. She probably does it at home. So now when you come out in public, I'm gonna go back to the video real quick. I want to, for those that might have clicked on late, let me go back to this real quick. Show y'all what time it is. Cold world out here, ain't it? I'm sorry. Some things are self-inflicted. Sometimes you bring things on yourself, and because of that, don't nobody feel sorry for you. But like I said, when we discuss this in terms of a relationship, how far should you go? Do you, I mean, everybody's natural reaction, I believe, as a man would say, okay, well, now that we at this point, I got to do something. Okay. Now, when she slapped the black guy in his face, he was about to go. He was about to jump off the bridge right then and there, but he pulled back. And then when I don't know what happened when she kind of pushed him, that's when he really so she got the first lick. And then once she got punched first, it was like, hey man, listen, I gotta do something, right? I have to step up. And I felt like he did the right thing. It just he didn't have those hands, he didn't have those thumpers to really complete the situation. But at the end of the day, should do you believe, guys, that he should have stepped up? Should he have allowed her to take whatever she had warranted herself, or should he have already stepped up ahead of time? Should he step in? He say, hey, well, listen, now it's already popped off. Should he allow her to get what's coming to her for her actions? Because like we already said, she probably do that at home already. She probably be putting him in check. So he probably like, go ahead now, go ahead, you bad, you bad. Or should he be man enough to say, hey man, listen, hey bro, my bad, hey, hold on, and put her in a position where everything settles down before it blows over. Now, it may be hard for a lot of people in a relationship because certain dynamics doesn't allow for a person to speak freely or step up and may put their foot down. But like Jeff said, if she knew her man doesn't play that, like certain time, it's not about being abusive or toxic. Sometimes it's just about how you carry yourself. You say, hey, listen, when we out and about in public, like, I don't care what we do as long as we operate in a way of respect. We respect other people's space. We respect, them as human beings, and we expect that in return, right? And if he carry himself in a certain way to where she knows he's not with the foolishness, he's not with the BS, then she'll say, okay, well, it might go to a certain point, but she knows she's going to hear about it when she gets home or on the ride home, right? And so that it does, in my opinion, pay dividends to be a man that says, hey, listen, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to be man enough to tell you when you out of line, just as well as I'll be able to take that criticism on the same end, right? But now I want to move on to another video because I believe it relates to the same topic, and it kind of has a little story time of my own tied to it, right? And so this video, I don't know, maybe some of y'all might have seen it lately. It's been circling around. It's from Love and Hip Hop Miami, and this is with Ace Hood. He's talking to, for those of y'all don't know who it is, Ace Hood is a rapper. He's a music artist, right? So he's discussing with his mom the situation where when he left a label and being signed to a label and became independent, how he had to shift how he moved financially and with his family. And for his mom, she had been on the queen's throne for the longest because it was always mom and son. So now when he finds a wife or someone he feels fits that role as the queen of his life, he clings to her, but yet that leaves mom hanging a little bit. So now she felt like she was left behind, that he wasn't supporting her and he wasn't doing for her the way he used to. And so for her, that was a problem. And so I want y'all to check out this video where I believe he did a great job stepping up for his lady and at least speaking his piece in a way to where he didn't offend his mom, but still was assertive enough to say, hey, I have a wife. She makes me happy. And this is how I'm going to move in the future. So let's check that out real quick and we'll talk about it in just a second. All right. All right. So the thing that really caught my attention was when he said, "Hey, I'm not going to make excuses for her, but at the same time, I have to protect my wife." Right? I have to protect my wife. Right? Now, the reason why this, like I said, you know, it has a deep seated root inside myself is because I had dealt personally with that same type of feeling between myself and my mom when she was alive. God rest her dead. Love you, mama. And so what seemed to be the case in my life was it was a situation where, when you have somebody else in your life and all you know as a black man is your mom. A lot of, I don't know if it's like 70 or 80% of black children nowadays are born out of wedlock. So they're most likely going to be with the mom. And so they grow up closer to their mom and attaching to their mom until they find somebody that they really love and then want to move in the opposite direction. But for the mom, it seems like that can cause drama, that can cause conflict, because now they feel like they're losing that man that's in their life, and even from a little boy, you get labeled the man of the house, right? My mom would go to work, hey, you the man of the house now, right? And so for a long time, you become the man of her life when she doesn't have a man of her own or a husband. And so when you decide to, hey, I'm going to cling to this lady that I want to make my wife, then it's almost threatening to her. And so I think Ace Hood did a great job of expressing to his mom, hey, listen, I still love you, but at the same time, I do have a wife that makes me happy. She makes me feel good, appreciated, and whatnot. And so I have to move in that direction because as a man, that's what I'm supposed to do. And, sometimes mothers don't really see that when it comes to how they're viewing the situation. They're viewing it as, oh, she pulled you away from me. But it's like that's not the case. He's clinging to her, right, as she clings to him, right? But again, in our uh, culture, it seems like a lot of times we as men have to deal with the fact that we have to make our moms feel all right with us moving on. And I feel like sometimes what needs to be said doesn't get said because of that fear of having to deal with your mom being upset with you. And for the longest time, I had dealt with that of feeling the pressure of, hey, just because you're doing good, don't forget about your mama now. Hey, as you ascend forward, as you ascend higher and higher, you got to make sure you pay it forward back to your mom. I remember, man, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all the story, man. When I was about 8 years old, it was my birthday, and my aunt Peaches gave me. Everybody got Aunt Peaches, but my Aunt Peaches gave me $20 for my birthday, right? And my mom, she said, "Hey, well, let me get that $20. Mama will pay you back." So I'm like, nah, it's my $20, right? And from that, she was like, you gonna act like that with your mama? You gonna act like that with mama? I done carried you 9 months in my stomach. I done had swollen ankles. I done like guilt tripped me to death over $20, which I ended up giving to her because it almost felt like she was so upset with me that I was about to get whooped just because I didn't want to give her my birthday money. But that same type of pressure applies with relationships when mothers believe that, hey, you leaving me for somebody that won't take care of you as good as I will, that won't look after you and won't have your best interest as much as I do. Right. And so when it comes to how far you should go to protect your lady, this is another example where you have to be able to be man enough to speak up and speak for those that you love, and also know that sometimes you may have to hurt some feelings, even though that's not your intention. Let me see. Facebook say, so for your information, there is no volume from the videos that you share. Oh, Lord. Let me see. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to play it back without my mic, and let me see if y'all So like I said, I'm trying something new. So forgive me, I'm gonna get this worked out. I just want to try a new feature to be able to see if the screen sharing will be able to play the sound. Now the first video, you ain't need no sound. You seen the action. The action spoke volumes by itself. But like I said, in this one, you can probably see, like I said, you can go back on Instagram or Facebook, look it up. You'll find that post where he's talking to his mom about the situation. Like I said, where he again is trying to protect his wife and let his mom know that, hey, listen, while you may feel a certain type of way about me moving on and being with my wife, that's just something I had to do as a man. That's what I feel like I have to do. I have to support her. I have to protect her. And I also have to let you know that as a grown man, this is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I understand how you feel, but this is what it is. And so how far should you go? Like now, do you think the majority of men would speak up? Or do you think the majority of men would probably do all he can to make his mom feel good about the situation, even if she's wrong? Right now, for me, it's a hard thing, but I feel like you have to be able to speak up, and you can't bite your tongue in this situation. You can't be the one to say, oh, well, mom, it ain't really like that. And, I still like, no, you have to set the record straight to say, hey, listen, I was taking care of you for so long, but you are still a grown woman yourself. I personally, as your son, is still going to be here for you. But at the same time, I can't take care of two households, right? I have to make sure that my family is good today and going forward into the future. And if I'm spending too much of our resources outside the home to make sure you're good, then our future may not be long tenured. So this is why, as a man, you have to be able to say, hey, I have to step up and express how the situation is so I can protect my lady, right? Because like I said, most moms feel threatened by another woman coming in and replacing her. And this is what it's supposed to be. But here's the thing, right? And this is why, I don't know, maybe you see so many children born out of wedlock, but this is a problem, because what happens is, as the mom grows older, now the son is expected to take care of her where she is unable to take care of herself. All right, I'm gonna say that again. As the mom, as a single mother, as a single woman who has children, and if she has a son, right, she's looking for her sons not to forget about her and be the men of her life and step up and protect and provide for her in ways she's unable to for herself. And that puts a huge strain on the man's life, because now when he has his family, now and then let's say he has children, let's say he's got a wife, and let's say he may have one or two children before he's met his wife, right? So now he's taking care of 2 to 3 households, and those 2 to 3 households are not even his own. So he has his household, then he has children maybe before or after, or whatever the case may be, that may be outside of his house. And then he also has to take care of his mom, who's growing older, but not financially in a position to care for herself fully, right? Nobody wants to have their parents in an old folks home, or, in a situation where they're not being taken care of fully. And so I understand the need for a person to say, I got to put you in a position of where you're not having to live under them circumstances. But yet all of that takes money. All of that takes money. And if you don't have the resources to be able to say, hey, I can take care of 3 homes, then, to me, moms, you got to be able to recognize the stress that you're putting under and over your son. Let me see. I'm watching this happen with my aunt and cousins and my friend and his mom. Facts. And this is what happens. This is where, when it comes to women nowadays saying, hey, listen, I'm good being single. I don't need no man. I'm this and that. I'm good by myself. Recognize that in retirement, you're going to need close to $1 million to be able to live another 20 years after retirement, more than $1 million, actually. And so financially, what happens is, a lot of women go about their lives and say, hey, listen, I'm good. I don't need nothing. I support myself. I make my own money, this and that. But yet you making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year isn't going to put enough savings away for when you retire for you to have enough money to last 20 years on your own and be good and be straight, right? So a lot of times, it's more in the hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatnot. And then that money gets drained very quickly. And then now you're in a position where you need someone to help assist you. And a lot of times that is the sons whom the mother has had. So like we were saying here, in this comment, appreciate you guys out there on YouTube as well as Facebook, says watching this happen right now with aunts and cousins, with friends and his mom, where the mom is putting the pressure on the son to say, hey, come on now, I'm your mama. Don't forget about me. Don't care what you do, but don't forget about your mama. And that is an implication to say, hey, you got to make sure that I'm able to stand on my feet by your support. I'm able to be okay by you helping me out and being there for me. And even if you have kids and a family, I'm still your mama. I'm still needing you to be able to cover me and protect me in certain ways financially where I'm unable to do it myself. And this is where, like I said, this is my own testimony. This is my own story time where, again, my mom would ask me, hey, mama need $200 for this, or hey, my car insurance going to default if I don't have this money by this and this time. And I'm like, okay, cool. But yet what I do know is I'm not going to see that money ever again. Right. And on top of that, if I ever ask about that money, it's like I'm wrong. Why? Because mama done carried me 9 months, and mama had swole ankles, and mama put up with me and changed my diapers, and mama raised me all by herself. You see that? That's guilt. That's guilt that a lot of mothers put on their sons because they feel like, well, you can't forget about me for all the things I've done. But yet it should be a process where, hey, you raise a man up to be a man and allow him to go out and find himself a wife. Because one thing's for certain, he can't find himself from within the household. All right. A young man is going to have to go outside the house to find out who he truly is, experience life and have his own life's experiences to understand who he truly is, what he likes, what type of things he's after, what he's chasing and what he's pursuing, what his purpose is. Right. And so you can't just put that over him to say, well, you forgetting about me. You wrong for that. You got to make sure I'm good. Like, that's too much pressure. And so that's why I commend Ace Hood for being able to say, hey, listen, you know what? I love you, mom, but my wife makes me happy. My wife is the woman of my life right now. And so ultimately, I got to move forward with my wife. And so even though you may feel like, oh, you just left me. Like, all these things are guilt trips that are mind trips over a man, because he feels like, I love you, mama. You the one brought me in this world. You the one cared for me. I wouldn't be nothing without you. But at the same time, am I wrong for supporting my wife? Am I wrong for making sure my family is good both today and in the future? I don't know. Let me see. So you say, told my aunt, it's nice you raised traditional sons who supported the significant other as a housewife. She said, well, what about me? I was pissed. See what I'm saying? So that what about me just proves that, hey, for a lot of women, what ends up being the case is when you're in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, you make the proclamation, I'm good. I don't need nothing. I don't need nobody. I don't need no man. But what happens is the man that you created and brought into this world becomes a man that you feel like is the man that should be supporting you in areas where you're not able to support yourself moving forward. And that is toxic. That is problematic. That is a cycle that's perpetuated in the Black community where a woman proclaims that, hey, you know what? Instead of me putting myself out there looking for a man and allowing myself to potentially find a husband, no, I'm going to act like I'm good and then turn right around and say to my sons, you wrong for forgetting about mama. Yeah, you got a housewife. Yeah, you got kids, but what about me? What about me? You leaving me hanging. And it's like, well, what happened to all of that? What happened to all of that boastful talking, big talk about, hey, you don't need this, you don't need that, right? And then now all of a sudden it's turned around on him. And this is something that I experienced where it seemed like my mom was looking at me to be that man to fill those gaps and those holes financially, companionship wise, being there, making sure I'm calling every other day, making sure I'm calling every other week. Hey, I haven't heard from you in so long. Where you been at? You forgot about mama. It's like, how can I live when there's so much stress and pressure from those that I thought loved me? And so those are the type of things that happen. And so this is why I asked, just out of a discussion piece and in the videos that I showed, just to ask the question, how far should a man go to protect this lady? Because as a man, you do have to be able to say, hey, mom, I have to step away from you and I love you, but that doesn't mean I'm forgetting about you. But yet at the same time, I can't allow the same system to be in place where it's like I'm taking care of you and I have to take care of my wife and children and my household, pay bills, make sure I'm putting money away for my children's savings and making sure I'm putting money away for their college fund and things like that, and still have to worry about if your lights are turned on. You see what I'm saying? But yet this is the case. So, like I said, tonight I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share a few videos, talk about what a man has to do to protect his woman. In the past video, the first video, hey, should you step up for your lady? Should you be the one to step up and tell your lady, hey, sit down, calm down. Like, this is not what we're doing tonight. Or do you allow her to put herself in harm's way or put herself in a position where now you have to defend her because she's in the face of another man talking trash, putting her hands on him, and then now he's reacted to her and you have to be the one to defend her? How should that play out? For me, you need to be able to be man enough to say, hey, man, no, this is not what we're doing. If I got to pick you up and put you over my shoulder, then so be it, just because, hey, this is not going to go down like this. And I don't do the foolery. And so I'm not going to let you put yourself in harm's way. I'm not going to let you put me in a position where we both are embarrassed. I'm knocked out. I'm socked out, all because of you. All because you drunk and you want to go crazy. Nah. And at the same time, when we talk about the Ace Hood situation, mothers that oftentimes look at their sons like they are their men, like they are their king. And so when they move on with the woman that they cling to and become married, now the mom has an issue with, hey, you moving on without me. I'm supposed to always be there, and you're supposed to always make sure I'm good and taken care of, even though you have your own family to look after. So y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about it. Should a man be responsible for his mother as she ages, even though she took no opportunities to find a husband or to be with a man in her own right? And then now she's looking at you to care for her as she grows older. And now she doesn't have as many resources and as much financial support as she feel like she needs to go on about her day or go on about her life on her own and allow you to be your own man. Let me know. And I just want to hear how y'all feel about it, because for me, these are things that we have to think about and we have to talk about, because ultimately some feelings might be hurt in the end, but at the end of the day, it's necessary. It's necessary evils. There's certain things that need to be done. And ultimately, you'll be respected for it. I feel like you'll be respected for it, because at the end of the day, you have to have a line. And if you don't, then everybody's going to walk across and walk all over you. All right. But again, it's Clarence Brown. It's a Male Translations podcast. I'm going to go ahead and leave that right there. And we're going to chop it up on another night, man. What I want y'all to do is go over to my website, relationshiphealing.co. Grab these shirts, man. Got my shirts going on, man. If you haven't been healed, don't talk to me. It's just one of my slogans right now for my t-shirt line. And I like y'all to really, I'm going to stand up. You haven't been healed, don't talk to me. Just to let them know, man, attract positive vibes and negative energy needs to stay away. We deflecting that all day in 2021. We wrapping this year up, but let's do it in the right way, all right? And so I'm out, man. It's Clarence Brown. Relationship Healing is the website. Go over there and check some of the stuff I have. I have an online course. I got a free quality man versus low quality man checklist. And I have a masterclass that's going to roll out soon. So get your feel over there. You can tap into the Male Translation video as well at the bottom of the home screen. And we're gonna see y'all one more again, man. Like I say, I'm not going to hold y'all too long. But tonight I really had to talk about it. We really had to discuss, how far should a man go? What should he do? How should he handle a situation where he has to protect his leg? Y'all think about that until we meet again next week. I'll see y'all one more again. Be blessed, be safe, be healthy out there, and we'll holler. Deuces. Which is more damaging, ghosting the person or letting them know, hey, listen, you're just not what I'm looking for right now?
Letting them know. So you really done, like really.